Duquesne Dukes are looking for a massive win that will come in the form of a possible upset of the George Mason Patriots. Hello and welcome to the Duquesne Sports Pregame Show. Jack Morgan, Nick Fernball to my right as always. And listen, for Duquesne, I love that touch. Listen, for Duquesne, I mean, it's been a season where they have had some missed opportunities. However, they have also had some wins and stretches of play where you started to kind of regain those expectations and high hopes for this team, Nick.
No, 100%. And I think the key thing is the fact that, when we were talking, at least for me, I was pretty low after the Dayton game. You were a little higher than me.
Yeah.
And I said this next stretch of games was probably going to be the make or break for Duquesne. They were playing a lot of lighter teams. And for what it's worth, they played admirably. I mean, took care of Fordham while we were on the 48-hour live stream. Went toe-to-toe with St. Louis, who is now, right? I think they're either in the top 20 or, 21 or something like that. They're like, in the AP top 25, soundly. I think they're 19. Yeah, they are playing amazing. They just beat Dayton by 30. And we took them to the brink, and even their coach said that was the worst basketball they played all year, and that was us that did that to them. We took care of Loyola Chicago soundly, and then I don't want to talk about Bonaventure because that was painful, but and then I got a migraine and didn't go to the game. I think Will and Jason, I believe, went to the game, but that was the best showing Duquesne has given all year long, and I truthfully mean that. Because they didn't play no Power 4 cream puff. They didn't play no D2 school. They went against an A10 team that was sitting with the same record as us right now in the conference play, and I mean we demolished them, beat them by 15, kept Rhode Island to 61. I do believe Rhode Island didn't have Jonah Hinton, but I don't think that should fully. I mean, I know it probably does matter because Jonah Hinton's been amazing for Rhode Island.
I don't think it's a 15-point swing.
I don't think it's a 15-point swing. And it was so nice to see this team finally come out and deliver. I believe what is probably the biggest. I would say Davidson was their statement win because that was an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
And that game was so wild. I feel like you're not going to get a game like that again, most likely. But
I don't think my heart can take.
This was like a statement win. They played a team that's probably maybe around the same level of Duquesne, can be maybe higher, maybe a little lower, around the same level as us, and throttled them at home. And that's a great feeling. You know what I mean, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you win a game like that, that just obviously it does wonders for your locker room, but it also, I mean, it sends a message to the league. I mean, that this Duquesne team is not a rollover.
Pushover.
No. Or pushover, whatever you want to call it.
They're never going to roll over, and they're not going to be a pushover to kind of mix you and me together there.
Yeah, and listen, Duquesne has had, I think majority road games. I mean, the last time, I guess Loyola Chicago was their last road game. They had a couple home ones that they were able to kind of build off of, right? I mean, they built off of Bonaventure and Rhode Island this past week. And now here's where a stretch comes up where it's massively important to pick up some wins.
Oh, yeah, you got a crucial 5-game stretch here where you go Mason on the road, GW at home, Bonaventure on the road, LaSalle at home, and Dayton on the road, which we might be going to, you and me.
Yeah.
So, before they wrap it up with Davidson, St. Louis, Rhode Island, and Richmond, which that last stretch, I would expect them to go 2-2, maybe 3-1 if they could beat Davidson again.
Yeah, I could see that.
For what it's worth, or if they drop to Rhode Island on the road, I don't know. But this next 5 games, I think is going to be the make or break for what Duquesne. I think that stretch of games right there. I know they only went 3-2, and you would have really liked them to see them beat St. Bonaventure, but I truthfully believe as long as they don't bottom out and go on some crazy bad losing streak, which, given how they're playing right now and given who's left on the schedule, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're safe they're going to have a first round bye.
Yeah.
And I think have a decently, if they can finish 7th or 6th, a decently favorable matchup for them come the first round. So, or the second round, I believe, my bad. But this next 5 games, I think is going to be the real test of, like, can Duquesne hang around, like, the middle, top of the table, or are they going to be somewhere from, like, 7 to 10? Because this stretch was nice, but you got some beatable teams in there, but you also have big tests that you need. Like, Duquesne's got to get a big test, and I think George Mason's, like, the textbook definition of a big test for them. Someone they've actually favored, highly against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, winning, 2 of 3 in the stretch of Loyola, St. Bonaventure, Rhode Island. Obviously, you want to go 3-3. We 3 for 3, right? We talked about the importance of this stretch on numerous different videos on the channel, and I think that while you want St. Bonaventure back, you get them again in about a week's time. So you get your opportunity to get your get back.
A chance to swing back, and I mean, I guess we want to switch over to George Mason for a second. Yeah. They're coming off the back of what was an improbable win against, ironically, St. Bonaventure. I mean, George Mason has been. I don't want to say this harshly because I think they're still doing I love their coaching staff. I love what they do there. I mean, they're not 20-2 on accident. I mean,
no,
they're not. Their only losses are to, ironically, Rhode Island and Virginia Tech. So what they're doing is an accident. It's not a fluke. They were a very good team. But it feels like, in a sense, they have essentially kind of, and again, maybe it's the way Mason's basketball plays. They've kind of danced through the raindrops a lot these past 2 seasons. So, I mean, they play very tight and a lot of close games usually. And, I mean, you saw with them through non-conference play. They played an ugly matchup against Penn. They, struggled at times against, they only scored 61 points against New Hampshire. I mean, they play sometimes. They give up 90 to Winthrop. Again, solid teams, but it's not the best showing. And, again,
for sure.
I think for a team that's this good, that's have a record this well, I'm surprised that the matchups aren't always telling, I think, the full story. I think this team's very solid. And one thing, when we get to, the more player matchups here, I think what's going to help them is they are a very good defensive team from the three-point line. But I'm a little surprised to see that despite being 20-2 and 8-1 in conference, they haven't looked as sharp as it seems.
No, certainly, but also something to point out, the head coach for George Mason, Tony Skinn, it is the 3rd straight 20-plus win season that he has posted, and that's a 3rd straight, and that's a first. That is a record.
You can't fluke that.
Yeah, you can. He's the first coach in school history to accomplish such a feat.
Really?
And yeah.
Congrats to him.
Right, yes, that's right there.
I love Tony Skinn. He's so good at he's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that there's a lot to like about this team. Corey Mincy, certified dog, 16, a tad under 17 per game. So a lot to like in this George Mason squad. That's where I'm going to take my player to watch.
Ooh, you're going Corey Mincy.
Well, I think stars got to be stars, right?
Oh, 100%. No, I agree with you there.
Stars got to be stars. And quite frankly, that's just what Corey Mincy has been. And when you're in A10 play, your guys have got to come through for you. And having an off night can really throw off your offense, because then you got to look somewhere else. If your guys now you rely on are not hitting their shots, I think if Corey Mincy can get it going, and there is a boatload of evidence to suggest such a thing, then I think that this George Mason team will be just fine. They are at home. They got a lot of momentum going right now. So I think Corey Mincy gets going for them. They're looking pretty good there, Nick.
No, 100%. And I guess I'm going to pivot over here to who I think will be a big matchup for Duquesne. I'm going to go Riley Allenspatch, junior forward, who, he's 6'11". He's absolutely phenomenal. He doesn't. And he's their second leading scorer, averaging 13 points a game, but he's also their leading rebound guy. And what I find interesting is, again, I was having a hard time thinking, okay, where is George Mason excelling at? Because it was their offense was middle of the road, their assist to turnover ratio is middle of the road, their shooting percentage is middle of the road. Nothing's really standing out. And then I just found out, I just kept looking, and I found that they are I think it's just their defense is overall just playing good, and it starts with down low. They are giving up, on average, the fewest rebounds, only giving up 30 a game. That's insane. And that's whew, that takes a lot to be as good as you can down low. And it starts with Allen Spatch. Again, this team doesn't really have a lot of favorable matchups. A lot of their guys average 4 or less rebounds, except for Emmanuel Konga and Riley Allen Spatch. So I'm looking right at Riley Allen Spatch because Duquesne have 4 guys who can rebound, I think, with the best of them, and Jakob, John Hughley, Jimmy Williams, and Dave Dixon. So I think if George Mason wants to win this game, you need a big night. You need possibly a double-double from Riley Allen Spatch to be able to walk away with a win because before we pivot to Duquesne, I want to highlight something here. The Dukes have beaten George Mason in their last 6 straight contests, and the last game they played, this was when George Mason made the conference finals, the A-10 finals. They lost by 17 at home. Like Duquesne won at home by 17 against George Mason. This is a team that made the finals last year, folks, and had almost an outside chance at making March Madness. I mean, this is a good team.
Duquesne was a team last year that I think was lost.
They were very lost.
That was brutal.
That goes without saying. They were very lost.
That was a brutal year for them.
That was their big statement win of the year. That was essentially their only real statement win they had all year long.
And you know the crappy part about that?
What?
We weren't even there for it.
No, it was.
It was over spring break.
It was spring break because it was that and then VCU were like back to back. But yeah, so
there's another one for you.
Yeah.
The championship, the year that the Dukes won the A-10 championship. Part of what sprung that run was when they played VCU and George Mason on the road in the same 4 or 5 day span.
I do
they
remember
spent that entire weekend out there, entire week to weekend out there, and they kind of simulated what it was like to play in an A-10 tournament type style. I mean, you're in a certain spot for a certain amount of days. So I think that is something that comes to mind for me when you're talking about Duquesne, George Mason. So yeah, the track record speaks for itself.
Oh yeah.
The Dukes would really like to come away with a win here. We'll get to real quick the Duquesne players to watch, and let's switch things up. We'll start with you here, Nick, if you've got a player to watch.
I mean, I feel like we're both looking at the same guy who has been on fire.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say him. I'm actually going to say someone else because I just feel like he's getting better and better every game, and that's Alex Williams. I cannot begin to attest how great. I genuinely think if there is a 6-man this team has, it's Alex Williams at this point. He is their 6-man coming off the bench, and he is consistently giving you great plays, good games. And I've joked with you all the time. It's like watching a linebacker on the court. Because, Alex Williams feels like he shouldn't match up well down low, but against a lot of bigger guys. But he does. It's like almost in a sense, it makes me think of, watching Luke Kuechly on a basketball court. It's the wildest thing to compare. But he's so big. He has this commanding presence for, again, being a smaller guy, Alex Williams. And I say smaller, folks. He's 6'5", and playing forward. That's ironically small in college basketball, especially in the A-10. But he goes out there with so much poise and authority. He boxes out, I think, better than anyone on this Duquesne team. And he's been able to show for it with some really good performances, I would say. Topping off with a 12-point performance with 4 boards against Rhode Island. I mean, he was just phenomenal in that game.
Yeah, I think that is a great direction to go there. But I think you go with a bit of a bigger set guy like Alex Williams. I'm going to stay with the tall type of area for Duquesne, right? Those big men inside the paint that need to continue to hold it down, and you're going up against a team who's like George Mason, who is not – they're very stingy at giving up rebounds, fam. So I think that I'm going to do the first ever joint players to watch.
Ooh,
and that is Jakob Netchus, Dave Dixon, and John Hughley.
Oh, you're going the triple threat.
A lot of foul trouble in yesterday's game, but at this point when it comes out, Sunday's game. A lot of foul trouble for them. They were able to overcome it, but Cam Crawford was the tallest guy on the court at one point, and He's right. I mean, that's, and they didn't go to Van Boosel. They did not go to Lazar. They didn't go to Lazar. So I don't know whether it's that they wanted Crawford. I don't know. All I know is that can happen against George Mason because they are a better team than Rhode Island. No offense, that's just the truth. I don't make it. That's not a prediction. That is a guarantee.
No, you're
But
on the money there.
I think that if you can get a performance, a joint performance on the glass from these guys and making sure that you're not giving up second, third, fourth, fifth opportunities, I think that Duquesne stands a good chance to at least stay in this one for the full 40 minutes. Team picks. Who are we going with?
Oh, start with me first.
Yes.
Okay.
How's it feel on the spot?
Oh my goodness, I'm nervous. No, I'm kidding. No, for what it's worth, okay. History and the way Duquesne has played George Mason should tell me that they should be able to go on the road and pull this out. But I also just don't believe Tony Skin's going to go and lose 3 straight times to Duquesne. I don't believe it. I think this team is genuinely, again, I've underestimated George Mason a lot, and Jack can attest. Every year I've watched George Mason play, I've deeply underestimated this team for a lot of the wrong reasons. And I think Duquesne, as well as they're playing, I think George Mason is finally going to pull one out. I think they're going to beat Duquesne, but I am telling you right now, whoever wins this game, it's not a blowout. If this game's decided by more than 8 points, folks, I will happily come on next time we do a pregame show and admit I am wrong. I will hold a Where's Wallow cane, grab my Where's Wallow cane and hit myself over the head with it or something. I could put that on record right now. If they lose by more than 8, I will say that because these two match up pretty well, and so I am going to say George Mason's going to win it. I'm going to go with a final score of, I'll say 75-71. I don't think either team is getting 80 with how well they play defensively and kind of their struggles in some regards on the offense, but
yeah,
I don't think it's going to be as much of a blowout as people is making it. I don't think, ESPN's odds, sounds looking right at the computer. Well, I don't think ESPN's odds tell the full story here. I think these are pretty evenly teams as we get to this game. So, again, I'm saying George Mason, 75-71, but I will happily laugh if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go with George Mason as well. I just think that 8 is a tight line there because of how games end with the free throws. I think there was a stat I was trying to get with St. Bonaventure after the Bonnies beat Duquesne. I was trying to see how many games that Duquesne had lost at home by 8 or less, and then they end up winning by 9, so it just killed my entire, there was no reason to even post it. It's just
that sucks.
It's all right, well, now I just did all that in the final 2 minutes, and now they just lost by 9.
Just got a light on fire.
I'm all right, well, 9 is a little silly, but, yeah, I pretty much lit that tweet on fire. Never saw the light of day. However, I do think that George Mason pulls this one out. Man, if we ever get a final score correct, I will jump for joy. That'll be my jump for joy. And I think the final score ends up being 73-65. So I do think we do hit it on the head with the 8. But I also know I've never gotten one of these final scores right exactly. However, I've gotten some picks right. So I'll go George Mason there with that final score, something like it. Like you said, I don't think we get to 80. But, yeah, that'll do it for the Duquesne Sports pregame show. For Nick Fernball, I'm Jack Morgan. We're saying so long. Tune in for the live stream and enjoy the game.